Good afternoon, and a happy Mother's Day to all that it is applicable to. Welcome back to Poetry and VGC. Today I am not alone. I am joined by Big Kristen, and she is going to be helping me analyze a poem today called "A Tribute to Mother" by John Greenleaf Whittier. How do you say that?
Whittier.
Whittier. Tribute to Mother. A picture memory brings to me. I look across the years and see myself beside my mother's knee. I feel her gentle hand restrain my selfish moods and know again a child's blind sense of wrong and pain. But wiser now, a man gray grown, my childhood's needs are better known. My mother's chastening love I own. That was Tribute to Mother, again by John Greenleaf Whittier. And just for a little analysis of the type of poem, I'm going to hand it over.
Okay, so this is a mid-19th century American Quaker poet. Therefore, he would be using more of the traditional villanelle style. Villanelles read close to a sonnet, but it's more song structured and shorter, typically 9 to 10 lines. And you either have a tertiary rhyme scheme where you would have 3 lines that rhyme, then another 3, and then another 3, or you would have instead repetitive language. This one goes with the triple rhyme scheme, which is nice. It's very quaint, and you're so cute, but again would have been pronounced again, which is why it would work.
Yes, but I read words correctly, so...
Wrong. You were reading 19th century poetry. You must read it correctly.
Okay, well... I think one thing that jumps out at me is it feels like the author is writing this in his old age. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. It's a memory poem.
Okay. Are those common from the time frame?
A lot of Quaker imagery is fairly retrospective. It's typically you would write, if you're a Quaker, it's to learn something for the morality. So for a memory, at least for him, it feels that the poet is looking back on his life and understanding how his mother brought him up with the right morals and stuff like that.
Okay, is that evident in that last line, my mother's chastening love I own?
Oh, yes.
Sort of an interesting adjective used to describe love.
Very old school. Quakers are very obsessed with the domesticity of the household.
Right.
So it's steadfast. The duty of a mother is just to take care of you. That's why, like, the gentle hand restraining, it's not forceful, but it's keeping him back from the selfish ideals or becoming too caught up in his own mentality. It's keeping him in that moral sense of you do things for others, not yourself.
Okay. That I believe that's evident in that line. A child's blind sense of wrong and pain. A child obviously, the way he's writing this, does not understand the sense of wrong and pain as a mother would. So that's a very interesting comparison there. But wiser now, a man gray grown, his childhood needs are better known. So I guess he's learned a lot from that mother figure in his life, whoever it may be. Very cool. Is there anything else about this poem that jumps out at you?
Well, it could be taken as more of this is him writing about his mom shaping him as a poet.
How so?
The selfish moods, the child's blind sense of wrong and pain. When you start out as a writer, most of the classes that you go through is they're tuning out your emotions. You're not just writing for yourself, you're writing for an audience. So her educating him on how to handle his emotions and how to better funnel them would in turn help him be able to put things better on paper. So it's him acknowledging that as a child I started out like this, but now I'm better because of how you trained me and helped me become a better person.
Okay, I can definitely see that. I really like the rhyming structure of this poem.
I do like the triple rhyme. I think it's very impressive, and the meter itself is uh, very. There's only 2 lines I think that go up to 7 syllables. No, that's 8. And like a child's blind sense of wrong and pain, but it rolls off because nothing is too large of a word that would throw off that meter. It's very song-like.
Right, and especially the next line afterwards, but wiser now. It's sort of the last few lines are sort of rolling, and then you sort of get that pause in between. What was I saying? Okay, yeah, but wiser now, a man gray grown. It sort of rolls off the tongue. It sort of like has that great pause in between each line that's necessary for the tempo of the whole poem.
And each group of lines that rhymes has its own separate meter.
Very cool, very cool. Well, I believe that's about it for this poem. I think we've analyzed it from a pretty good angle, couple of angles really. So real quick, I want to talk about this battle that we've been having in the background. This is the same team that I used in yesterday's video, except I wanted to use the Ninetales and the Shift Tree, I believe, and I partner it with the heliolisk to sort of puncture holes in the team. The only problem is a Dynamax Snorlax backed up with Light Screen is pretty beefy to take out, so it required a lot of work, as you can see. But there's the Reflect and Light Screen there. It took a while for me to take out the Snorlax, and actually when I was battling, I was praying that it wasn't Rest Snorlax, because then I would have lost. But fortunately, it was Iron Head Snorlax and did not have Rest, so it was a good victory. I have one more video with this team. It's using the same core again with the Shift Tree and the Ninetales. It's an okay team, but like I said in the last video, there's not a lot of coverage against Pokemon like Colossal. There's no water type attacks. There's no ground type attackers. The only one we have is the only thing that could touch Colossal is the Hitmontop with Assault Vest, which I guess if we're running into special variants is good, but that's not a lot of coverage, so I don't foresee myself using this team very much anymore. I don't know how good Sun actually is in VGC, but it was fun to use for these couple of battles. So, well, I want to thank Big Kriten again for joining us.
Of course.
Her analysis, just for people who don't know. Chris, would you mind giving us your background and why you know so much about poetry?
Sure, my love. I am a technical writing and creative writing student. Therefore, I've taken a lot of poetry classes. Most of my creative writing has been specializing in poetry. Specifically, my favorites are metaphysical and romance. So it's almost the same year. It's relatively close. Romance ended around 1830s. So he would have overlapped slightly within the Romance languages, which I think influenced his rhyme scheme and such. So it's kind of cool. Thanks, babe.
Very cool. Well, I hope you come back to join us sometime soon. Your analysis is very much appreciated.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Poetry and VGC. I really hope everyone enjoyed as I thrashed my opponent in the background. And if anyone has any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section, and I will see y'all later. Bye.